All right, Mr. Devin. Dude, when you made that post about how like there was like this whole list of rules, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. At first, like, because you made a couple of those posts, and the first one I was like, "Is that serious?" I'm like, "No, it's not serious." Because like as I read down the list, I'm like, "Oh, this is hilarious. That was so funny." Do you like the reaction? What was the reaction that you got off of that?
So Mr. Devin, it's a funny story behind that.
Yeah, what is it?
So at work when we went remote, uh, my boss he was or our manager was gone for he had a family emergency that like left him out of the office for 16 days,
Yeah.
and the joke was like whenever he was out of the office, like everyone would come to me because I'd be the most experienced on the team or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd be kind of like running it, but in assisting.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, all right, I'm Mr. Devin now since I'm doing
Oh,
Jared's job, and
yeah. You put on the
uh,
boss hat.
yeah, but it was called the sports coat. Okay, so just hear me out. So in pro wrestling, there's this character named Brody Lee, and when he was in WWE, he was Luke Harper, and he was like this dark follower. He didn't talk at all. And when he came to AEW, he got to be himself, and
Mm-hmm.
he's great on the mic if you follow his work.
Buddy
And
Lee, you say?
Brody Lee,
Brody Lee.
Brody Lee, he passed away in December.
Mm.
But it was a non-COVID lung issue. But he had this Mr. Brody character, and it was basically just like this comedic yet,
I'm gonna look him up. Yeah. Keep
Brody
telling
Lee,
me.
and it was just like this stern dickhead boss, like clearly a ripoff of like Vince McMahon, the way he dresses, and he was just like an asshole, but it made you laugh,
Oh, okay.
and it was great. So I would put on the sports coat and be like, because I had the man bun and the beard, and
Yeah, he has a massive beard
I was
here.
like 267 at the time. This was before I got back. So I'd be Mr. Devin, remote. So whenever they Skype me or, hit me up on Skype, I would
Yeah.
put like, hold on, if this is a Mr. Devin question, I put that on, and I would just turn around and I'd be in character.
You
And
go
that
into
was Mr.
character.
Devin. Yeah.
That's so
So
funny.
when so fast forward, I'm being told, hey, you have to come back to the office. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm not. No, I don't have to. Like, I'm good home. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for the recommendation. And they're like, no. And I was like, all right, that's it. If I'm coming back to the office, you get 24/7 Mr. Devin. I'm like, please just understand that. And he was like, what? And because he knew who Mr. Devin was. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm going to be Mr. Devin right fucking now. If this is for real, Jared, I'm Mr. Devin right fucking now. And he's like, I'm telling you, you're coming back to the office. Here's a date. If you have a problem with it, take it to, and I was like, he didn't say I couldn't be Mr. Devon. So I went ahead and I found the sports coat and I was like, that's it. So I started slowly introducing Mr. Devon, and I just came off my loss, in MMA, and I just needed something, the whole captain gimmick. That just was another thing from work when I got like my boss. I didn't want to work one day, and I was trying to leave. I just had a really bad anxiety attack, and he was like, "Yeah, we're all the captains of our own ship." And then he just started, and that just kind of stuck with me. And I was like, "So you saying I'm a captain now?" And he was like, uh, "What?"
So that's what I heard.
And I was like, "No, can you call me captain now?" And he was like, all right, Cap, go back. I was like, yes. So that was like my identity. And, I took it. I bought a captain's hat and I was like, no, I'm a captain. Because, like, at that time, I left MMA again.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, at my current job and I took it seriously and got married and so on and so on. So I was like, I'm this kid. So everybody at work was like, hey, Cap. And then I evolved. Like, I got in shape and, like, you look like Captain America now. And then they're like, you don't look like Fat Thor anymore. You look like Captain America. So it was just, a character change. So Mr. Devon trying to bring it into the boxing world clearly did not work out. And like I also use like comedy. I got like really sick back in April, and I had stomach issues, and it was like the most like hell that I went through. And before that, I got really motivated to lose all this weight because I came up with like this captain gimmick. Like I decided to take the captain gimmick. I had no intention of coming back to MMA. I was actually trying to work a pro wrestling match with Kev. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but he's a good friend. And I was trying to work a pro wrestling match with Kevin Lee Davidson, and that's what inspired me, starting the FKLD campaign. I don't know if you remember that. And
I didn't see that.
I got these like tank tops made, and then
Oh.
but I
Did
did.
people take that serious when you did that?
A lot of people did.
Like they didn't realize what
Because
you were trying to do?
people don't know how to take me, and I'm okay with that. And then
Yeah.
um, so I started the weight loss thing because, again, back to stomach issues. I was having like what I thought was just bad acid reflux.
So the stomach issues came after you had already lost a whole bunch of weight,
No,
or this is what
so I'm
prompted you to lose the weight?
yeah. So at this point, I'm like 276. Like I'm eating sushi like 6 times a week. I'm making the good money where I can do that. I'm guzzling sodas and energy drinks, and life is good. I just bought a house. I don't care if I'm fat.
Yeah.
This is stupid. And next thing you know, I started like just getting stomach acid like all the time, and like starting to throw up all the time. And then it started to hurt to like use the restroom. And then just one thing led to another. So they were like, all right, we're going to do a colonoscopy. They went in there, they did some things, like everything. They found like a couple things. They took them out, and they went from there. And then it was they just okay. So now so then they asked me we're gonna put you on a diet, and we're gonna go from there and see what happens. So I reached out to, at that time it was like a sign from God. My friend Candace, she started this like, hey, if you want to do a 3-week weight loss competition, hit me up. And I was like, okay, doctors want me to lose weight. Like, Carrie wants me to take this seriously, because, like, when I'm constantly, like, having stuff going on and I don't know what's going on, and it just feels like razors are playing ping pong down there, my family's going to get concerned. I'm going to get concerned. So I took this seriously, lost the weight, and then I was like, okay, so I can't get motivated to lose the weight to see what's going on in my life, so I'm just going to start calling out Kev on social media, and I'll just get motivated to work a pro wrestling match.
So that was your motivation to lose weight, was to work a pro wrestling match?
Right. I was told I know it sounds dumb. I was told, like, hey, we're going to get you, like, we're going to see what's going on with your stomach, but you got to work with us. So we need you to lose some weight while you're doing these medications and, like, all this stuff, scheduling these appointments. I couldn't get motivated. And
Dude, it's hard.
Yes.
Especially
when you're told to do it.
Right, because you fought, or like when did you first kind of enter in like the whole pro wrestling or even MMA scene? Like which came first, MMA or wrestling?
Pro wrestling. I didn't get officially licensed because I was down in Florida. So pro wrestling came first. I tried out for NXT.
Oh, really?
And I got sent home because I didn't fit the bill.
Okay.
So
how big were you at that point? You were a little guy back.
Yeah,
back
no,
then, right?
I was like an out of shape 205. Like I've worked. I was not in pro wrestling shape, but I was 205, and it was one of those things where like I should have totally not done it. I should have like actually worked on the actual craft or my body for like a year and a half, and it was like eye opening because I was seeing dudes who were like big as, like, tall as you. Like, I did not belong. Like I clearly did not belong.
That's
Somehow
funny.
I got to stay the 3 days. Like, I made the cut. They said my mic skills were great. They're like, if you want to be a manager, maybe go out, get some reps as a manager, like, out there. But as a pro wrestler, that ain't for you. Because I tried like the whole MMA gimmick. That's what I brought when I went down there. I knew nothing about MMA. I knew nothing.
You were just trying to just create a persona at the time.
Pretty much, to fit in pro wrestling.
Okay.
And I knew MMA from watching it, and when I was in the military, and we had this thing like MCMAP, Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, so I knew like some basic armbar stuff, move.
Yeah.
Nothing near as like what at the time a white belt could whoop my ass. So don't think like I was like really good on the ground. It's just I knew basic stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went down there with like the MMA gimmick in mind.
Yeah.
And I remember Dusty Rhodes is the one that sent me home, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Baby, you got all the passion in the world, baby, but that's not going to work here. Go home and work on your craft, baby." And I said, okay. And
so he kind of gave you something to focus on.
but I took it the wrong way.
Oh, really?
he wanted me to work on pro wrestling or manager. I went in and I was like, oh, Dusty Rhodes wants me to be an MMA fighter, so that's what he wants me to do. So then came the MMA.
So then they went down that path.
Yeah.
But it gave you something to focus on, which whenever my only point is, I know like for me, um, you get so used to like having that next fight or that next thing that you're training for to keep you motivated.
Yeah.
And then when you don't have that, it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
To be like, oh man, I got to get up, run for what, train for what. So I understand why you're saying like, yeah, man, I didn't have the motivation.
So that's what led me to December was so after so fast forward, I'm on this diet, and Mr. Devin, doing great. Well, we've the Kenny fight. Man, a lot of stuff happened. My cousin got murdered
Oh shit.
in November, so that was Thanksgiving of 2020. That's what triggered the Kenny fight because I lost it, and I needed something. I needed something, and I like went on an alcoholic rage for like that next month, and then I finally reached out to Kane Royer, and he answered like we haven't talked in years, and he answered, and I said I need to talk, and he was like, well, just talk to me, and I just started. I don't even remember what I fucking said. I just got off my chest, and
Yeah.
then we texted, and then he trained me privately at my home, like at my new home. I have like 800 square feet. My wife let me have, and I made it a gym.
Nice.
So like he trained me there, and then I got ready for the Kenny fight, and then after the so I lost in TKO, and I came up spitting up blood and like green shit in the middle of the ring. I'm pretty sure I threw up on Kenny at the fight. Tim Francis was the one that stopped it, but like. My wife was like, you need to go get that checked out.
Oh
So,
shit! I didn't know you did that.
yeah, I go to check it out. Uh, I go to my stomach. There was a black spot on my stomach. Took it out. Um, but before everything that was going on, I called Rob and I Doniker, and I just kind of explained everything to him. And I was like, hey. Because here's the thing, when I found out what my surgery was going to be, like Shamrock released their yearly schedule, and I was like, sign from God. And I reached out to Rob. I said, hey, you got December 3rd open? And he's like, Devin, it is fucking June. So why we focus on December? And I just was, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, yeah, hey. December, that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what led to that.
Mm.
And
You lost 100 pounds, right?
Mhm.
How long did it take you to lose that? What was the time frame? You lost it pretty quick, right? Within a year?
say within a year. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So what were you doing that whole time?
Dieting. I hired Freddie Kostovarek,
Okay.
who was actually like a frenemy growing. I would say coming in the MMA world, like a frenemy. And when he took me on, he made a Facebook post like, I'm looking to take on a client, la, 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 la. And I reached out to him, and I said, hey, this is what's going on with me. Because my life was spiraling out of control when Amy got murdered. You know what I mean? That was like the first like big event on the Killian side that like went down where my grandfather like wasn't around and he didn't really have control. Like my grandpa would always like fill us in like
It's kind of like the patriarch of your family.
right.
So this is like that's the first major event with your family where he's not been there.
Right. And it was like lack of a better word. It was a spiraling shit show.
I mean,
You know
having
what
a
I mean?
family member murdered, dude. I mean, that's heavy shit.
So, sorry.
You're fine, man.
Fucking, yeah, going there. Uh, yeah, it was just a rough time in my life. So Freddie took me on as a client, and I wanted to lose the weight. And I told Freddie, I said, "Look, we're gonna fuck up KLD, baby. Like I'm gonna work a pro wrestling match." And then, the fight, and I took the fight.
Hmm.
And I'm glad I took the fight. I probably shouldn't have took the fight. You know, that was the first fight within like 3 years.
Yeah.
And
You done fighting?
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really regret taking this boxing match. 100%. I had a really bad flare up like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still bleeding right now.
So you have a boxing match coming up?
Yeah,
When is it?
February 5th.
Why don't you just pull out?
Because a contract's a contract, and I talked a lot of shit, and that's the thing is like I wasn't talking shit like disrespecting the motherfucker as like a person. Like it's just
You trying to promote it?
I was trying to promote it like be a character, but that's the thing, and like that's the thing that like made me really take a step back recently. Is like I had all this like I started bleeding like bad 10 days ago, and fucking like that's when like just a cluster form of shit was just brewing. I was back in the office. I didn't really fucking like it. Like, it's. Do you like taking a shit in the office?
You know, there was a time where I used to not want to take shits only in certain places.
Right.
But I'm a little bit more liberal now.
Right. So it's like imagine knowing like you're gonna
I'll
have
take a
like
shit anywhere
the
almost.
fucking Nile River come out, but it's blood. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you'd
saying?
much rather be at the comfort of your own home.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like all this, and that's not playing victim. It's just saying I'm picky. But it's
Well,
like,
I'm sure it's a hard transition for a lot of people who got used to like working at home to go back into the office.
yeah.
I mean, it's much better to be at home.
So Freddie took me on, and I just poured my heart out. I just told him what was going on. It wasn't like I was trying to sell him a story. I was just telling him what was going on. And then one thing led to another, and then just most recently, it's like I'm about to be 33, and the world really kind of doesn't know who I am, and like I'm okay with that. But it's like, do I know who I am? Like I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I need to work on. But it's like, who is Devin as a person? So I just need to figure that out, because at the rate I'm going, at the mindset I was going to be the next Ric Flair. But I mean that in the wrong way, because Ric Flair is fucking 77 years old, and he's out doing, and this is, I love your podcast. Ric Flair don't need to be doing a fucking podcast. You know why he's doing a podcast? Because he just wants to be out there.
Well, his own podcast?
Right.
His own podcast?
Yeah, he has his own podcast.
Isn't Ric Flair a raging alcoholic?
When I met him, he was drunk. Yeah, I'll say that. I smelt it off him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's always on coke and alcohol.
I don't know about the coke.
He's just a wild man.
But it's like it was just like
alcohol for sure.
It was just like at that point I'm tired of being self-centered. I was making myself centered without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to teach Sammy and Oliver everything I know. I want to be with my wife. I'm scared as fuck, like, with this whole stomach shit, because like I've did everything that they fucking asked me to do, bro. And it's like what the fuck, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, fuck.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Yeah, I can't even imagine, having stomach issues like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck, dude.
So Katie, Dr. Katie, she's been a blessing with this. Like she's my nutritionist, and she's the one that like giving me like these crazy fucking yummy recipes that I didn't even think of like would even make a concoction of deliciousness. But
Cher, you're talking about Cher?
Sorry,
isn't
no,
that...
Dr. Cher,
yeah.
Cher.
They have the same last name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna make sure.
Cher.
Isn't it Scherer?
Scherer.
One of those.
Scherer.
Yeah. But yeah.
Dr. Katie, that's what I have her saved on my phone.
Dr. Katie,
as.
yeah. Jacob.
Dr. Jacob,
Yeah.
he's cool as hell.
Yeah.
He's a big
great.
baseball guy.
Yeah.
So, but she's my nutritionist. She's the one that helped me get down. Smart. And so Freddie and her, I still do King cardios every morning.
What do they have you eating?
So like right now I'm doing this like the chicken. I can have some chicken, and I can have some eggs. So right now I'm having 6 eggs in the morning and an avocado, and then I'm having a shake later, and then at night after work I have like 4 ounces of meat and fucking greens. Carrie has it prepped when I get home. I don't even know. I just do my thing and then
yeah. And you're just eating that every day.
Yeah, I was all vegan, and that I was like in the best shape of my life, and I felt great. I was eating like beans and fucking rice
Yeah.
and cheese and these delicious like vegan tacos, and it was awesome, and that was great.
Hmm.
Um, Things that like really screw me up is like donuts or cakes or breads or wheats.
Yeah.
Oats feel like razor blades. That is literally the best way to, excuse me, to describe them.
Yeah.
Refrain from juices.
Refined carbohydrates, right? Anything that's going to really spike your insulin
Expand,
levels.
yeah,
Yeah.
or expand my stomach or anything. So,
Yeah. It's not a bad move, dude. That stuff's not good for you anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
I miss pizza.
Yeah. Pizza's a guilty pleasure of mine.
I miss mozzarella sticks. French fries, I like definitely should not have, but
Yeah.
I
Like
whatever.
potatoes, you can't have potatoes.
So I don't know. I don't know what it is about French fries. Maybe it's just because like they're curly fries. I
Maybe,
don't.
maybe not like a
Like,
curly
yeah,
fry.
but I do like man, curly fries. That's my poison. Curly
Yeah.
fries and cherry coke with my shit.
Dude, I love fries. Dude, not all fries are created equal. I make fries often, but I just cut up a potato and I'll just like bake it. But yeah, if you're getting like a curly fry or some shit like that, that's not quite the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, but do you feel better though? As far as having lost all the weight, obviously, so you're having stomach issues again, but
Um, the biggest joy now is that I can play with my grandkids, man. Like I love those boys. You know what I mean? And like yeah, I'm 30. I'm about to be 33, and I said I have two grandkids, but like that's just the way it is. My wife's 44, and you know
mm,
her oldest is 26, and he has two kids,
okay.
and they call me Goku because I will not be called Grandpa. So like, I think it's cool as shit because I'll be,
Goku, I love it.
yeah. So I'll be like in Walmart, Goku, and like someone will look up, and I'll just be like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, all right.
Hey,
So
have fun with it.
yeah, but like,
How old are they?
so Sammy is 5 and Oliver's 3.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Sammy, so they know the difference of like MMA, pro wrestling,
Yeah.
and because they know that's what I love and we'll watch it. And
Hmm.
Sammy's really into pro wrestling. Like I thought he'd go. Like I wanted, not thought. I wanted him to like do the kickboxing, but like when we were sparring, like Oliver was whooping his ass
Oh
because
yeah.
like Oliver's gonna be my striker, like legit. And Sammy was like, "No, spots, call spots, Oliver. Come on." Like
What's
that's
that mean?
so a call spot like in pro wrestling is like where like if I grab your wrist, I'm like Adam, spin, and like
Oh.
you'll spin like
Hmm.
do a roll, and I'll make it, and then do an arm drop on you, and then you sell it. Like that's calling a spot. So my
Okay.
boys know that, like, 'cause they like to play pro wrestling.
That's so cool.
And Oliver, they know the difference when what's pro wrestling and what's, MMA, because I
Hmm.
want them to know that. You know what I
The
mean?
difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Oliver was like, no, this is sparring. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be a hard difference to learn, is it?
No, it's not a hard difference, but it's just Sam is really strong. I call them by their pro wrestling names, King Samuel and Lord Oliver.
Okay.
And so that's their pro wrestling names. And
You dubbed them that?
yeah, and everybody else has. Just like Nathan, I dubbed him cousin Nathan. He's not even my cousin.
All
So,
right.
but everybody thinks he is. You know what I
That's
mean?
hilarious.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
You seem to really uh as long as I've known you, you latch on to these characters
Mhm.
and like you embody them
Yeah.
like wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
There was a time where you were known as Ace.
Yeah.
And that's like a past you now, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that though.
So Ace Anderson was the character that I went into NXT with.
Okay, so that was your pro wrestling like initial character that
Yeah.
you
So
were.
like when I got into the Marine Corps, I was like a really big loser in high school, um, in Marquette, and
When did you graduate?
2007.
Okay.
And like I was like on the wrong side of the like not wrong side of the tracks, like I didn't realize it till honestly like 4 years ago. We were super poor, and like I thought that was just like normal. But like I love my mom, and that's why like I give back to her now like more than ever, like just realizing shit. But it's like we lived in a condo, and I went to Marquette High School, and I
Mm-hmm.
was driving the old Toyota farm truck, and everybody else was driving Mercedes or, Toyotas or their mom's cool Traverse or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I got made fun of. I didn't buy shoes for like, God, I think I bought new shoes like 3 times just because I didn't want to ask my mom for money.
Mm.
So that's why, I had a job when I was 15. So I remember getting out of the, like, so I went in the Marine Corps because the recruiter was like, "Hey, are you looking for a change? Are you looking for purpose?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, everything you just said, I'll do that."
Yeah,
Like,
all those
yeah.
things.
And I get like, "Yeah, you get the uniform, get the girls." I didn't have a girlfriend like all through high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was a loser.
So
I was a weird
you
kid.
wanted to like have confidence. You want to feel like you belong to
Yeah, I
something.
was the weird kid. So like to me, Devin Anderson was like this fucking loser.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like they're like, "You are no longer recruits. You now are whoever you want to be because you're a United States Marine." I'll never forget that like
Mm-hmm.
speech. And I was just like, "That's it. I'm Ace." Because Ace Anderson was the creative character that I made in the 4th grade of fucking, yeah, you give me the eyebrow, that's cool, of the fucking WWF like video games. Like
Really?
that was me. I
Uh,
was like, I'm gonna be in WrestleMania. I'm Ace, and Ace had the tattoos. Ace was cool. Ace was the fucking world champion, and that because it was creative character.
yeah.
So every time I bought a Raw game, I made Ace Anderson and I upgraded him every time.
Oh.
And so finally, I was like, I'm Ace, and that's what inspired my Ace tattoo because I was like, I'm Ace.
Yeah.
Like, and so people are like, "What's your name?" Ace. I just say it. I didn't
Yeah.
give a shit.
You just
I
embodied it.
practiced it 100 times, like on my stuffed animals, so like I can do it to people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I'm Ace, and I just went with it. And then it became like a fucking joke because they were like, "Oh, okay, Ace." Like,
Mm.
and then I was like, "Man, all right, you know what? No, fuck that. If it's a joke, Ace is a joker now. That's how it's gonna be, and no one's gonna know how to take Ace because he's wild." You know what I mean? That was like the whole gimmick. So,
Yeah. You're the
uh,
wild card.
I grew up like I was in love with Mankind,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember
Did
like
you see McFoley when he came here not that long ago?
no,
Oh,
no, and that's because I met him before.
okay.
So
You're just like, why
I,
do it
because
again?
that would be, because what am I gonna say? Hey, remember me 4 years ago? I saw,
Yeah.
that's like stalkerish.
Yeah, well, he's probably also doing the same show.
Probably.
It's just his one man show.
But I was just amazed how he'd go from Mankind to McFoley to Dude
Dude Love.
Love to Cactus Jack, and it was like, okay. So when Dusty told Ace to work on the Ace, Ace went out and did the MMA. So I was like, I'll just use the Ace Anderson moniker. That'll get their attention. And
So, did you really have any intentions to do a lot with MMA, or what was that? Was it just you're just like shit? Dusty Rhodes told me to do that. I should go do it.
so, yeah, that literally was it. I was like,
So you didn't really have any prior interest to actually competing in MMA until then?
correct. I was using it for all the wrong reasons. So if anyone's listening, like, don't do what I'm about to tell you.
It's a journey, bro. We're all on one.
But it was like, yeah. Long story short, Jim Jenkins gave me a spot.
That was your first MMA show? It
Yeah,
was on Jim's card?
yeah, and then he gave me a second spot, and then I was 0-2,
Was it
and
at the
then
Heart of St. Charles?
Heart of St. Charles, and then at the Afton
The
Center,
Afton Center?
and then I was like, okay, I'll get this W. I'll get this W somehow. And then I saw Kane Royer in the back, and I was like, hey, so my name's Ace, and I was like, I saw Montrell James fight back in August, and I was wondering if you have any spots at the Family Arena where I could fight him. And it wasn't like I hated Montrell or anything. That was just the only name, because I was only there for one fight.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, he's 170? Okay. It's the first fight. I scouted my one dude, and totally fucking wrong like way to do it because Montrell is a monster.
Hell of
Like,
an
you know what I
athlete.
mean? And I'm like, I didn't fight him obviously because Kane was like, yeah, I could do that, or you could like actually come to my gym and train. And I was like, okay, I'll do that.
That was kind of the start of you and Kane's relationship right there.
Yeah, right then and there. And went from there, and then he went to Wolves Den, and I kind of just like focused it on my job, got married. Yeah, I never like went back to pro wrestling because like I just fell in love with MMA. I really truly did. I was like in the best shape of my life, like doing that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually at peace. Like when I'm on the mats, like when I'm sweating, when I'm throwing combinations, when I hear the bell,
Mm-hmm.
like when I hear mitts like in a room, I'm like, okay, that's where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get that in pro wrestling. And that's not disrespect to pro wrestling, but it was like I made some great relationships and, you know,
Yeah.
great times with a lot of people. And I kind of regret it, but you know, it is the reaction I was going for. I really wish I just came in as me. You know what I mean? Because people just don't know how to fucking take me, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Was that you think that could be because you're always like kind of so committed to the characters? Because like for me, for example, like you're probably like a really good actor. You could probably get into a character, I would imagine, and just do it right.
I'm not a good actor.
Well,
I
okay,
because when I did that Shamrock interview,
okay.
no, listen. When I did that Shamrock interview, they had to redo it like 6 times.
Well, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say you could probably be a really good actor.
Okay.
With the at least having the ability in my mind to really go all in to a character. I mean, that has to be the makings. At least that's like a foundational piece to being a good actor, right? At least you have that piece going for you. I feel like for myself, I feel so weird if I were to begin to start acting like a character, I would feel super self conscious. Like people would know, like that's not you. You're just being a character, and I'd feel weird, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You don't seem to have that issue.
So yeah, because I came in like wanting to be a pro wrestler. It wasn't like an actor. It was like a pro wrestler. You want to connect with the audience. You
Hmm.
want to build feuds. You want to be good on the mic. Like I
Exactly.
was just in pro wrestling mindset. Like if you gave me a script or you told me to like improv, I couldn't do it.
Right. But in the context of it being pro wrestling, it makes sense. Embodying it, because is it not the same thing?
I mean, I guess it
A
is
form.
a form communication without what's it called? My life coach and I just went over this posture. Your posture, like you can tell, like you know, if something hurts, the way you oversell, like you know, your facial expressions and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
Yeah. There's exaggerations through
yeah,
your face, but then also just the promos you cut.
hmm
Right. I mean, obviously it's all physical. You can't fake gravity. Like that's all real. But I mean, to your point, like you're setting up moves.
yeah,
It's all. It's like a play.
okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, no, no, not at all,
Not at all.
not at all.
No.
It
No.
is. I
No.
mean, yeah, no, it is. We're nodding our heads. No, that's pro wrestling's real,
It's fucking really entertaining.
but have embodied a character. I mean, the ace. I like when I met
From
Carrie.
ace to captain to
Well, like when I met Carrie, my world changed. I like totally should have not have like even tried to be with her, and I did. And she like just got in my head and brick by brick like peeled the layers down and like showed me it's okay to be human. And Devin started like coming out or coming back, you know what I mean?
yeah. So you started feeling comfortable with who Devin
Life,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty recent.
Yeah, I met her in 2016 and
Okay,
yeah.
that's what's up. Yeah, because from again, just knowing you from like the peripheral, like obviously this is the only time we've actually ever really sat down and had like a long
Mhm.
form conversation. Like I've seen you at like gym shows and different things, but it was always like it was I've always known you as Ace, and then I was like, all right, so is his name Ace or is it Devin? And I'm like, all right, oh, his name's Devin. Okay, so it's not Ace. And then so it's like trying to get a read, and so it's interesting to hear the whole story now.
Yeah, it's just Devin as failed pro wrestler, you know. I've made a lot of friends in my MMA career. I pissed off a lot of people.
At least
But yeah, people like
at least you tried though, man.
it's like the one time I tried being a pro wrestler in St. Louis, like I got the reaction I wanted, but I pissed off the wrong person, and like I gave them like it was just a horrible uh, first impression, and I was like you can't get first impressions back, and there's a lot of people who knew Ace as like the first impression, but it's like if I could go back in time, like I would just never mind. But yeah, when Devin came out as a pro wrestler, he pissed off the wrong people at a pro wrestling show. And
Oh,
it was
really?
like, yeah,
Because this is a big pro wrestling town.
yeah,
It's a huge city for it.
yeah,
I didn't realize that.
yeah. Once it like if you can make it in the Midwest, like back in the day, you could make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like literally, the Midwest. Now you're gonna get into some history. Was like NWA's like Super Bowl. And NWA brought in these motherfuckers from the East and the South, right? And then you had APC at the time pulling in the West and like, you know, down in the Phoenix territories.
Mm.
And fucking NWA would be like, all right, hey, let's find a center point. Boom. Because Chicago is its own territory. People think that's like more like Chicago in the pro wrestling. It's like bigger.
It's its own thing.
It's bigger though.
Mm.
It's like cultish, scary, cultish pro wrestling, like worse
Really?
than Philadelphia. Yeah,
Wow. So pro wrestling is a very regional thing.
yeah,
I didn't realize that.
yeah,
Growing up, I never understood that because I always just saw, WCW or WWF on TV.
yeah.
And that's what I always thought it was. I didn't realize that these guys were the very next night going to a show that was probably much smaller than that big ass one that was just on TV, and there probably wasn't going to be any cameras.
Right.
And then they do it again the next night, and then I didn't realize that and how big it. And now that I'm learning more as an adult, I didn't realize how big it, even more so how regional it is.
Yeah, there's pro wrestling shows every night. If you go look at them, if you just got to go where to find them.
Yeah,
But there could be pro wrestling shows every night.
I've noticed a big resurgence here in the city.
That's because the AEW is back, and well, not back. AEW, there's competition is back in the WWE. So now that there's a secondary platform, there's going to be more, surge of people trying to get themselves out there because they can have another outlet to go to.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of cool.
I was talking to I think maybe I was talking to Peaches. He was telling me that it was required for everybody to have a license,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty much, unless the WWE was going to pay for that, then that kind of was a barrier of entry for a long time, and now I guess that's changed. So now that's why we're seeing more shows again because people can kind of afford to wrestle again. Is that?
I don't know about that. I know the license process is not hard. It's like $20, and
Yeah.
then your blood work, and then your physical, and then
Yeah.
that's about it.
Has it always been that easy, or was it pretty difficult there for a while?
Oh, God, it should be easy. I don't think it was difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know that a lot of the blood tests. Pro wrestlers are scared of blood tests.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like they're not scared to like cut motherfuckers or cut themselves like in the ring.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know why you'd be scared to get a blood test.
I don't know. I was scared to get a blood test because I don't like needles. But
You have to always get blood tests for fighting.
yeah, and I pass out every time.
Really?
Hmm
Oh, wow.
My wife has to be holding my hand.
You
like,
faint?
yeah, I faint.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you get so okay, it's not the same type of needle, but do you associate the same with needles with like tattoo guns?
The tattoos, that's like for pain relief, man. Like I am constantly in pain with my stomach and like like my asshole. Like you know what I mean? So it's like I'm just that's just like with the pain, like dealing with pain.
You get tattoos to help distract yourself from the pain that you're in?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. You must be in awful pain.
I am.
And now, did the stomach issues go away at all?
When they went away, man, like they went away, and I don't want to like make anyone feel bad, but like they came back like probably 8 weeks from my Shamrock fight, man.
You think that could be stress
Change
related?
it. No, it was a change of diet. Anytime there's and because you got to think, Adam, I was eating those like delicious vegan tacos for like 3 months.
Uh-huh.
So everything was smooth sailing coming out. Everything tasted good. Devin's happy. Devin's got a 6-pack. Devin's doing great on Freddy Fit. And then it's like I just know like my change of diet and like that's like the thing about like Rob and Jesse. They knew like about my stomach shit. They were like they were more concerned about that like you know how like the promoters hit you up like, hey, how's the tickets, you know, how's that, like
Yeah.
they would like, hey, how's the stomach,
Yeah, like how are you?
yeah, how are you, and it was like I'm like, hey, you know, I did tell him, I was like, hey, I had a small flare up due to a change of diet, and I was like, but everything's cool.
What'd you change?
I think I have to look back at the emails. I think it was going back to the meats.
Adding meat back in?
Yeah, like replacing the beans like with the
So
meats.
you're not doing so you don't do well with
I don't
meat.
do well with meat.
So have you removed the meat?
I have, because like I'm in the phase now where like I'm like getting ready to cut for, and that's why I like boxing, 165 to 175, so I can show up at 175 and be good.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I've that's what kind of made me. That's why I like took off social media, because around I made this post when it was like my first Tuesday back in the. That was my last like. Like, you know, when you're in a sinking ship and it was like, oh, what do I have? Oh, fuck you. Like, you know, that like, so they told me at work, like, hey, you're coming in on Monday and la, 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 la. And that's how it's going to be. And I said, yeah, I'll be in Tuesday.
You just give no
I
fucks.
said, I'll be in Tuesday. Like, they're like, and they're like, why? I was like, well, I scheduled this. I had to retake a test and like I had to get it done sooner or later. So I scheduled it. So it wasn't being a dick.
Yeah.
It was just that Monday was like that open. And, but I was just like, I'll come in Tuesday. And they're like, why is Devin coming in Tuesday? And
Mr. Devin
I was
will
like,
get
well,
it.
Mr. Devin's got to take his test. So, but, so I can't, so that was like the Mr. Devin's, and Kelly like jumped on. And first of all, if it wasn't Kelly, first of all, I love Kelly. I love Kelly and Jimmy.
Oh,
Like,
D'Angelo? Oh, they're the best. I'm trying to get them both on the podcast. We're
I
trying to get
got
this
them
worked
a
out.
housewarming gift, and because they are hard as hell to like shop for, and I finally found like something like when I was out and about. I'm not gonna tell it where I was at, but I was like, that's it. Okay, now because like they're building this tiny home, and I have the same dream of like doing that, and I was like, I saw it, and I was like, okay,
You
so
gave it to him already? Or
no,
no? Okay.
I'm like I was literally trying to find the next time. I didn't know they were gonna be at the Shamrock fight, but they were backstage,
Oh, okay.
or like in the locker room and everything. So I'm gonna bring it, you know, to February, and but it was like, where am I going with this? So Kelly was like, basically, I informed Kelly, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna head kick this dude. I'm not gonna knee him. I'm not gonna throw an elbow. I'm not like I'm not that like it's just a character, like whatever. I'm trying to rebrand myself, and she's just like, can you forget about the constant rebranding and can you just focus on Devin the man? And I was like, ugh. And like that was a kick in the dick.
Hmm.
And because I've been hearing it from Carrie, because my wife, she doesn't like want me taking this boxing match because she sees me on the like on the toilets late at night or like screaming in constant pain, and I'm not trying to like put out there for some, I'm just telling it how it is, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you know, she's, you know, my mom's going through health issues of her own and shit. You know, she don't want me doing this.
Yeah.
I've been ignoring my stepdad's phone calls. Like he's called me 3 times because I know exactly what he wants to talk about, and I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan sent me a text today because I had a flare up this morning. I fucking, you know, he's on me more than anybody. Just text me whenever you have a flare up so I can track it, you know. And so it's like he was like, you know, his last text message was like, you know, focus on being, you know, the husband, the grandpa for seeing. And I was like, well, fuck you for calling me a grandpa.
First of
Yeah,
all.
yeah, let's get that straight. But it was like, man, I don't know. And I'm not using this platform to like state my case why I should pull out. But it's like, first of all, you invite me on here was totally out of the blue. Like I did not see that coming. I didn't
Dude,
think I was cool enough to be on
I
here.
mean, you're an interesting guy, man.
And so it was just the pain. Working out and hitting a bag and going to jiu-jitsu, like anytime just on the mats, like listening to music, or I love 90s Euro, like that's what I work out to because that's what I grew up to. Like, you know, my mom would clean the house and she'd play like Amber, you know, or, you know, shit like that. So that's what I listen to like whenever I work out. And like that's when I'm like happy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like when I'm with my wife, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm with, my boys, Sammy and Oliver, I'm happy. But it's like when it's just me and I'm doing, so I guess that's what I am. I guess Jared Daniels Block called me today, dude,
Oh yeah.
and he wanted a checkup on the stomach. And like I was telling him like everything that's going on. And he's like, dude, just go home. Like no one's gonna look at you different. Like
Right.
if you're in that much pain he's like, and you sound like shit. Can I just say that? And I was like, thanks, Jared. Like this is
Appreciate
me
it.
normal. Like you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um, yeah, dude, it's whatever.
Man, bro. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, yeah, you probably should probably just, not do the fight and take care of your
Well,
your
I
health.
mean, Ian messaged to me today, and he was like, "Are you good?" I was like, I sent him a picture of like the blood that I had. I was like, "This is what I'm dealing with," but I'm
Well, and you still have time. It's not last minute, right? I mean, you got what? There's like fights in like 3 weeks.
yeah. I mean, we'll figure it out. I mean, here's the thing. It's like even though I left Boyers Academy, like I spent a good amount of time working on my striking,
Mm-hmm.
and I I didn't really get to showcase that in my fight. And
Oh,
and it's like I'm at a catch 22, Adam, because like I have a life coach, you know what I mean, and he's helped out a lot too. Like I've had him since my stomach shit, so March, um,
okay.
and he's helped me and everything. And it's like we read these daily devotions, and it talks about listening to your brothers, listening to God, listening to your body, listening to this, and it's like,
So
man,
you're
just
also in that
listen.
men's group, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
you got
host Bible study every Thursday.
yeah. So you have community with that.
Yeah, and that's good for the soul, and that's a whole nother thing. But it's like I want you to if you take anything away from this podcast, just take this take this away. It's like ego is the enemy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Ego is the enemy, and it's like nothing comes good of the ego. So it's like, is Devin training martial arts and like doing jujitsu for and going to boxing on Tuesdays or whenever they're available? Is that doing it for the ego? Like, well, no, because I'm enjoying my time doing this shit. Like, you know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
really am. But it's like, uh, is taking a boxing fight when you have all this shit going on, is that for the ego? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just don't know how to feel about it because it's like, man, what is it? How's it like? I just don't like. I already got people cheering that this motherfucker knocks me out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got my enemies sponsoring the dude, so they could just be like, "We support the community, but we want you to knock this motherfucker out."
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't want them to be like, "He's pulling out because he's a bitch," because that's what it's gonna look like. And
Yeah, man. But
and Devin James ain't no bitch. I don't.
you
But
know the truth though, and
fuck people's opinions. Or I mean, go ahead.
yeah, essentially. I mean, shit, dude. It's really weird because yeah, we don't. I mean, a part of the reason we fight is like it feels good to be the man. We want that
Hmm.
external validation, right? It does. It feeds the ego, and it doesn't feel good to pull out of a fight. It never does, right? You always feel like the stories we tell ourselves. Oh, I'm a bitch, or I should have done it, or I could have probably have done it, or whatever the case may be. But I think we have such a skewed view of ourselves as fighters because whenever you agree to go do that thing, like you're fully committed, right? And to do anything less just feels like an epic failure, right? So to not get that external validation to feed that ego to be like, yeah, I am the man, it sucks, but
And it's like,
the bigger picture
I
is it's
do though,
not that
man.
important.
I do without even realizing it. Every time those boys hug me, man, like anytime those boys want me to pour them juice
Mm-hmm.
or get them cookies or uh, what are we down to now? We're reading fucking Clifford. They love Clifford.
That's the
They
cool
think
shit,
they
man.
think that like anytime they come up to me like wanting to read it like that makes me feel good. Whenever my wife like you know jumps on me like as soon as I walk in the door like she
Yeah.
does, and we just like I just drop my shit and I'll just hold her for
Yeah,
like a
bro.
good 15 seconds. That feels good, and it's not for the ego though. But it does give me that validation that you were talking about. That's why I started. I was like, wait a minute, Adam's onto something here. I didn't mean to like take that
No,
away
you're
from
good,
you,
man.
but it was like, yeah, fighting feeds the ego,
It
and
does.
ego is the enemy.
Like, yeah, did
And
you read that book, Ryan Holiday?
Is that a book?
Yeah, ego is the enemy.
Oh, okay. I did not read. I didn't even know it was a book. I
Yeah.
learned that in one of a seminar I was at.
Yeah, bro, it's all right. Ego is the enemy. He's wrote a couple good books actually. It's by a guy named Ryan Holiday, and he's really big on like Stoic principles. But yeah, Ego is the Enemy. It's a pretty good book. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but he also has one called The Obstacle Is the Way, kind of talking about like leaning into the issue and kind of working your way through it to get to the solution.
Okay.
Yeah, to your point, ego is the enemy.
Yeah, and once you establish that, and once you eliminate the victim mindset, you kind of things start taking a perspective. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's like that's one thing like I'm working on now is like I've identified that I'm self-centered, and I've identified that the hell did I just say? See, that's another thing. I forget shit easily.
Talking about
Uh,
working with your life coach, and we were talking about ego being
Oh
the
no, I'm
enemy,
saying
and
yeah, I'm self-centered, so I need to work on that, and I've also like need to work on the ego. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
the ego is for sure concerned with self. We all are really. Who isn't self-centered? I mean, we're all. I mean, we're all like the main character in our own play, right? Everybody else is just a supporting character. Obviously, we don't want to be selfish,
yeah.
right? But I mean, who else? What other perspective can you take other than your own?
Well, I just try to follow like the Bible. Like
Mm.
I know, like a lot of people try to hard to buy that, but I truly do, and it's like
Try
that's
to
why
embody the principles.
yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying everybody should, but it's like it's helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like I see a lot of like that's when I just realized like man, social media is toxic. Like I see a lot of hurt people out there. Once you read the Bible and you look at social media, it's like what it like we were just reading it the other day, like Matthew something something, where it's like basically in Bible terms it said don't be a douchebag and take a selfie anytime you donate to charity.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa. And then it was like, uh, she is precious as rubies. Nothing is more important than her. And then like I'll see a dude like sharing a pic of like a hot chick in a bikini, and it's like, whoa, you're married. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. And it's like again, I'm not the perfect person. I'm learning every day, but it's just like when Kelly was giving me that speech, and then it coming from Nathan, and then even my fucking boss like got involved. He's like, "Are you really taking this fucking boxing fight?" Like everything just kind of put into orbit around me, and my head was spinning out of control. And then like I was like, "Dude, I just need a fucking vent." And then like a day later, Mr. Devin, you want to come talk to me, baby? And I'm like, Adam Meredith, what the fuck you doing in my head, man? What are you like? What's going
It's
on?
just the
So
universe, right? So you're getting all of these messages saying, "Oh shit, I shouldn't do this thing." It's heavy in your head, and you're like, "All right, well now I get this opportunity."
my uncle, who's a doctor, who's in Washington, who like overlooks all my shit, he's concerned about it. Like, they want me to start like this treatment, and like basically, like if I started, I was like explaining it to Carrie, is like, because I don't like. So basically, it's just gonna be like, if I'm explaining it right, something's got to go in while I take something as well,
Oh my god.
and I'm also like on a liquid diet for 3 weeks. That's just step one. And then step two would to be go back in there again
A
and see what.
3 week liquid diet.
Yeah,
Holy
I've done it
shit.
before. I had to do it before.
Were you heavier when you did it?
No, I did it in May,
Okay.
and it sucked. I got all the way down to 182, bro.
What do you weigh? What do you blah 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 blah? What do you weigh right now?
Totally 180. No, I weigh like 183.
And yeah,
I'm cutting. I'm like in the diet of processing, but like
what do you normally walk around at?
like 205.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Like 197. Let me
wouldn't have
rephrase
guessed
that.
you're that
195. 195.
Oh, okay.
205's like the old me. No, yeah, 195. Freddie's got me like walking around 195.
Yeah, and you started at like 280,
276.
276. Where so before you got big, you were small. How small were you?
Walking,
Yeah.
Kane had me walking at 170.
So you were like 170.
Then I got an office job.
You gained 100 pounds.
In a year.
Yeah, in a year you gained that 100 pounds. Holy.
2018, October 2018, and then I stepped on the scale of July 2020. So I guess a year and a half.
Yeah. So 18 months, let's say, you put on 100 pounds, and then, man, yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's just a lot for your body to go through, right? I mean, going from 170 to 100 pounds in 18 months, and then at that point you started the process of getting small, and then it was a year later that you lost roughly 100 pounds.
So the pandemic hit, and we were renting at the time, and I was doing really good at my job. I just got promoted. My wife just got promoted, like in of December of 2019. Carrie and I both got promoted, and that's when I knew I was like financially stable. Was when after my first commission check, I didn't know how much it was because my wife's in charge of the money. Like I don't know if we have $1 or $100. Like I don't fucking know. Like there's days she'll be like, use this card. There's days she says, I just don't fucking know. So our dog was eating this like string toy, and he had it stuck in his ass. Like he ate it and like it was out of his ass, and I just fucking pulled it out. Like it was hanging out, and I pulled it out, and it went from like that long. For those listening, it went from, what do you say? Is that 6 inches?
Yes, yeah, 6 to
So
8
it went from like
inches
6 to 8 inches to like 12 inches,
Yeah.
and he yiped, and then he like started like he was like constipated, and like he had shit. So which is funny because everything Bruce had, I ended up having.
Oh,
It's like
shit.
it tested was like fucked up on top of that and everything. So that's like the joke because I'm like, Bruce, you know my pain. And,
He's the only one who
so
does.
we had to take him to the hospital, and the bill was like $2,700, and I freaked out right then and there because I was like, fuck, me and my mom weren't talking at the time. Like this was when I was literally like, everyone still thinks I'm Ace, and like I'm Devin, but they don't see that.
Yeah, you had to like overcome that.
Yeah, the world did not, and like I had to prove myself. Like my mom, I was still driving my mom's car. My mom thought I was still like, like, when are you gonna grow up? I wasn't, and I'm married at this time. I'm literally like taking on this family man role. Like I'm all in on this shit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna fucking do this.
Yeah,
like
you're
I
doing
am
the
doing
damn
it,
thing.
and I was doing it. I literally was doing it. I didn't do any MMA, but I became a huge workaholic, bro. Like I was like boom to boom. Like I'd wake up at 7:30 and be on the road at 7:45, and I'd be clocked in, ready to fucking go.
Yeah.
And like I took the MMA like work ethic to
just
the
applied
phones, and that's what literally got
Yeah.
me. Because I looked at it as rankings. I was like, oh, I'm 16th. Watch this, boo. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but basically, when they handed me the bill, I'm freaking the fuck out, and I'm doing math in my head, and my wife just goes to her phone, and she just goes, honey, it's okay. She's like, we can pay for his surgery. We're going to be probably having $300 for the next 2 weeks, but we've been in worse positions. So we're going to save the dog. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like relieved. And I was like, wait a minute. I got that? How much money in the account? Like, what's going on? So we started working ourselves, and Carrie got us out of debt. And then her little baby brother bought a house, and she comes in my room one day. I'm playing video games, and she's like, remember, we're renting. And she's like, I am the last child to be renting. Everyone else, she has 6, so everything's a competition. Everyone else has bought a home. So she's like, I'm going to see what we can do. And then the next day, she works for a mortgage home loan company, and she has me fill out a bunch of shit. And like,
You signed away your whole life.
she like submitted to see what we can do. And I'm with being a veteran, I have the VA home loan, and I had that available. And like I didn't think I did because I didn't think I had it because when I was in the military, like when I was in the military and married before, when I knew everything at 22, I bought a house, and like that went into, like, I got divorced, and that went to foreclosure or short sale. I don't know what the fuck. I was deployed like when all that shit happened. And she was like, so I didn't know how it worked. I was like, okay, clearly the first VA home loan didn't work out, so I guess Devin can't use that ever again.
Yeah,
And
you thought you were just.
she was like, no, you can. Like, you're good.
You still have that
You
benefit.
still have that benefit. And they're like, okay, you need to have at least a 620 credit score. And I was like, I'm fucked because I don't have that. I think I'm in the 4 or 5s. I had a 624.
Mm.
And then they were like, hey, based on your paychecks, you were approved for this amount. And I'm like, what? So we went home shopping and we got this beautiful home. And Carrie, like, when you walk through a home, you're like, all right, this is going to be my shit, my shit. So there was a space in the back unfinished. And like in the back of that, they had a freezer. And I was like, oh, okay. Hello, Academy of Excellence. Because I told Kane, I was like, hey, one of these days I'm going to open up an AOE. It was supposed to be like a little, I always looked at it like AOE would be like a resource learning center,
Mm-hmm.
or like a library basically. Because that's what like AOC was for me. Because like when I was in college then, like at SLU before I dropped out, I would be like at the little table, like using their Wi-Fi, like, doing schoolwork before I hit the mats. And like, I always thought that was cool. I was like, man, it would be cool if we had a computer. Like, anyway, so, but I was like, this is going to be my mat room and I'm going to, make it my little gym and then make that my man cave. And I did. And I got to design it the way I wanted it. I like pro wrestler, Triple H, whenever he showed his gym, he had AstroTurf. I remember that, back from day one. So I was like, all right, AstroTurf, mats, fucking bags, cage, weights,
Yeah.
mirror. Like I just, and I built it and I did the damn thing. And everybody says I have a great setup.
Nice.
So
Just piece by piece.
yeah,
That's the best way to do it. How long did it take you to put it all together?
all together the way it is now, like with the current timing, 2 years.
Yeah, that's
But it's
legit.
like, I got the cage up there like a couple months ago, but the mats I got down right away.
Yeah.
Because so when we bought the house, Andre was selling these mats for like $500. And I had to like spice it up to Carrie. I was like, hey, I need $500 and I'm spending $300 on these mats and $200 on other gym equipment. And she was like, okay. So
It's a good
it
deal.
wasn't a lie, honey, because he threw in an ab wheel and he did throw in like one medicine ball. So I was like, hey, here's $100 ab wheel and $100 medicine
And
ball.
other
So,
equipment.
but it was like I got all those mats and I had them sitting at our rental house for like 2 months before we got out. She was pissed. So I started right then and there. I actually started getting shit, a treadmill, a weight bench, things. And then I just sent it to Freddie. And he would be like, all right, this is the routine we can do.
Yeah.
So Freddie put everything together. And like I said, I still do my Kane cardios. Like I'm not currently coached under Kane, but Kane is still my friend.
Yeah.
Like I can call Kane right now and he'll answer. You know what I mean? But it's like we don't train together anymore, and that's okay. It's like Boyers. I left Boyers. We're not there. I wish them nothing but the best. I'm over here at Phil's, over at Gracie. And I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil, he just opened up out there in Wentzville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, jiu-jitsu's where it's at, bro.
The way he
It's therapy.
teaches shit is, first of all, Phil
Good dude.
knows everything. Like, and it's not like I'm Phil and I know everything. It's not like that. It's like he takes the time to know his students. So like when I made some fucking reference that I thought nobody would fucking know. And Phil was like, little Razor Ramon, huh? And I'm like, what? Like, no, you shouldn't know. Like, that was before he was Razor. How do you know that? So it was just like, it's just kind of cool. So
That's epic.
yeah.
When you make a reference that you expect nobody to know, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not the only weirdo here.
So yeah. So, but it's like, but back to what I was saying, it's like, everyone's telling me to focus on me and focus on, and that's what I'm going to do, man.
Yeah.
There's some days where like I won't even roll in jiu-jitsu and Phil understands. It's not like, hey, I'm not, I'm a piece of shit, I just don't want to, it's not even that. It'd be like, yo, Phil, I'm going to make it through class, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, and he's like, that's fine, man.
Yeah.
So everyone like works around me, and it's just like when I realize that I'm starting to have to like work around too many things, that's when it's like, huh.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know.
Well, probably a good time just to chill and just focus on your health, man.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, and that's where I have to like, I'm in a mental capacity with that. It's like, am I am I being a bitch or am I fighting the ego? And that is literally the crossroads that I'm at, because
Mm,
it's like, am I being a bitch or is this the ego? But then I'll take a fucking shit and I'll go and wipe and it's fucking purple. And I'm like, whoa, that's like grape jelly on there. I shouldn't be having
yeah.
that. Like,
Well, you're probably not being a bitch, but speaking of ego, I wanted to ask you because you had mentioned it to me one time at St. Charles. Now you were a part of some psilocybin trials.
huh, yeah.
Tell me about those because as you talk about ego, I mean, there's surely an effect to your ego with psychedelics. So I'm just curious about your experience. Like, tell me about like,
Yeah, so I'm a veteran and the VA
yeah.
like
Can you
does.
adjust that for me
Oh,
a
yes,
little bit?
sir.
Yeah, you're good.
Check, check.
Thanks, buddy.
How do I sound? No, okay.
Fantastic.
So
You
it's
have
like
such a
I'm a
beautiful
veteran,
voice.
and they was like coming out with these trial studies and all that stuff, and it's like, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? And I was like, yeah. And so I submitted all my paperwork, and they were like, hey, we're gonna try to unlock your brain.
So you're a candidate for these studies with psilocybin.
Yeah.
And where were they trying to treat? Do you know? Was it PTSD? Was it
So
anxiety? Was it
like it's like anxiety, depression. Like you had to be like either on the autism spectrum or depression, anxiety, history of suicide, a veteran,
hmm
this, that, and the other. And like they looked at me and they're like, "Hey, thanks, man. Come here." And so, dude, I fought some demons on that. Like that's when crazy. Like when I did it, I was around my wife, Nathan, and Brandon, and they like were like babysat me, and
did they do that just so you're comfortable?
mhm.
Okay.
And you had a TV, and like they had it all like they're like, what would you prefer? And I was like, like you didn't get any food or water. Like let's make that clear. Like you didn't get any food or water. Like so we watch
So
the.
you
Go ahead.
so you get there. How do they administer it? Like, how do they give it to you? Is it like in a capsule?
Yeah,
They give you capsules,
yeah,
and then they just have you chilling in this room
yeah,
that's like comfortable, and
yeah.
they how many and they allow however many people you want around you.
It's not how many you want. Like I was like, my wife's coming,
Yeah.
and Brandon and like Brandon came and Nathan. I wanted Brandon and Nathan.
So
Well, oh, I'm sorry, Carrie did not sit in the room with me.
okay.
It was Nathan and Brandon.
You had to fight to let them in to get them in there. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Okay.
So Brandon goes, well, let's just watch a Royal Rumble, and I was like, okay. So they're not partaking in any of this. They're the clear-headed motherfuckers.
Right.
And Brandon turns on the 2005 Royal Rumble, and it just took one fucking, like, Brandon said one question to me, and it's like after he said that, like he pulled a lever because he just said, where were you in 2005 when this Royal Rumble came out? And it was like I entered a time machine. Like it was just like multiverse of like rainbow bifrost shit just like swoop past me,
Uh-huh.
and next thing I know, like I'm outside of my mom's condo. I'm downstairs. I see that there's still no carpet because when we moved in, like she immediately yanked out the old carpet and we never like laid it down
hmm
for like 10 years. And my room was like the basement, and I'm peering in and I see me on this like shitty pink couch that I remember buying for my mom at a resale shop. And I remember seeing the projector that I had. I remember seeing the a white curtain, and I remember seeing the like Royal Rumble going on there. And I was just I just got lost. I'm like, okay, Royal Rumble, 2005. That's January. Focus, Devin. Where were you
hmm
January 2005? You just left your job at Sabaro, possibly. Well, and I was like, no. I just see myself laying there on the on the couch, and basically, like, long story short, the end of the like this is towards the end of the trip that I remember. Now that I'm like thinking back on it, this whole what I'm saying is like I remember, or no, at some point, like I remember, like just like it's just like some little dude came up. Like, he had this goofy ass mustache. He was clearly a cartoon. He didn't speak. It was a white mustache, and he was wearing a little conductor hat. And it's just like he popped up, and like the Bifrost came. Like, he just popped up. Like, he didn't like wave or anything. It was like this dude just like popped up.
Yeah.
And like clearly, I've seen him before, like in a newspaper or something. But it was like a cartoon, mustache, hat. And the Bifrost came again, and I just remember like being like this and seeing Brandon here and Nathan here, and they were like, what are you reaching for? And I just started crying, and I was like, that was 16-year-old me, and I need to tell him that he's going to be okay.
Mm.
And they were like, wow.
How many experiences did you have?
Twice.
So they did it twice. Was there like a researcher there who
Yeah,
was like a therapist or
the
something?
second time it really didn't do anything to me, and I didn't get called back for any further.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the second time you just went back and it was just like how long? Like what was the time difference like between the first and the second one?
I'm not trying to like feed bullshit, so I'm like legitimately. I want to say, okay, that was December. No. September was the first one. And I think January was the second one.
Okay.
It was like before the pandemic.
Mm.
It was because like COVID. I think that was it. COVID was like, hey,
Yeah.
like that's why I haven't heard back from them.
Was it like a randomized control? Like, did you know for sure you were getting psilocybin? Like, they were just like, you're getting psilocybin and we're trying to treat this?
Yes. They're trying to see, like, not treat, they're trying to see, like, what it, and, like, then you get
They're just trying to see what it does?
Right. Then you get, like, scans and shit. And
oh, wow.
it's, they take, like, your temperature and, like, your weight before. It's crazy.
Yeah. Wow, dude, that's a crazy ride, huh? And that was all funded by the military?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a veteran, you're able to do that?
Yes.
Did you feel like it helped you?
No.
No? It was just like a crazy...
it was like a check. It was like, another military guinea pig thing.
You just had like a one experience that was pretty powerful, and the second one...
That was like the most powerful. Like me trying to speak to 16-year-old me.
Yeah. You didn't take anything away from that?
I took that I had a lot of regrets from the time I was 16 on.
That's what you took away from it?
That's what I took from it.
So you did take something away from it.
Yeah.
So is that something you've been kind of like addressing since then?
Yeah, I've been holding myself accountable.
Because as we're talking, yeah, it seems like you've been like on this journey of just really trying to like work on Devin.
Yeah, I just want to be, dude, here's the thing. Sammy and Oliver ain't going nowhere. Carrie ain't going nowhere. And I got to be the best fucking version of myself, so I don't make the world's most perfect woman look stupid, and I don't make these two beautiful boys look stupid. Like, through this journey, I've learned shit. Like, I've learned how to throw jab, cross, hook, cross, you know what I mean? Or switch knee, elbow, cross, or, shit like that.
Yeah.
I can pass it on to these boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, because, like, I got beat up all the time in high school. I also talked a lot of shit in high school. You know what I mean? I thought I was a pro wrestler. So, I didn't I didn't give a fuck. Like, hey, you want to hear a funny story really quick? During lunchtime, I wanted to ask this chick out to homecoming, and I got on the mic and jumped center stage, and I started cutting a promo, and like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I said, if you want to see Morgan go to homecoming with Devin, give me a hell yeah. Crickets. Like, I was like, okay. So I was like, that was the first time I got on a mic and felt comfortable. Like, you know what I mean?
Fuck it.
It was in front of the whole cafeteria.
Hey, you have a cool story though.
And, but it's like, I can also teach them what not to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like when, I'll catch like Sammy doing dumb shit, and like when I catch him, he'll like start to have a freak out. I'm like, yo, are we freaking out because we got caught? Well, Oliver, okay, are we playing victim? What's accountability, Sammy? What'd you do? Okay. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, stuff like that. Or
Guiding
are you
them.
crying? Because does it make sense that you're crying right now? Like,
Yeah.
he took his fucking toy, so you're crying? You're really crying?
Yeah.
And,
I get it. Because, I mean, even though you're Goku, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's almost still like you're almost kind of like a dad too, right? Because, I mean, you're still pretty young, right? Is this the first time you're ever like really raising kids?
yeah.
Exactly. So it's all these like firsts. I can understand why like the gravity of that relationship you take so serious.
And I also, like, my grandfather to me was like the coolest person ever.
Yeah.
And
So that's like an important relationship for you.
yeah, he
Yes.
was my, like, I had a single mom. You know what I mean? My
Hmm.
grandpa worked at Boeing and he lived in Gerald. So,
Yeah.
like,
Grandpa was dad.
dude, I mean, he stopped by every day after work.
Hmm.
He'd go to my football practices. He'd go to my football games. He'd, like,
Yeah.
he was everything. Like, and he'd let me know he's on the field, like, without, like, knowing, like, as soon as I smelt a GPC menthol, like, hit my nostrils, I'm like, my grandpa's here. All right,
Okay. All
cool.
right. We're good.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like, but it's like fucking, I gave, like, Carrie and they have their own room at our house
Hmm.
because I had my own room at my grandparents' house. And, like, there's a Sammy and Oliver fridge just because I had a Devon fridge.
For
And
real?
yeah. And it's like, you know what I mean? And like, also, flip side, at our house, like, we have the Whole Foods fridge, and, like, the garage fridge is, like, where Zach and Carrie mostly go to.
Okay.
So it's like, but I also, that's the thing. I make sure they have a TV. I make sure that they have, if they go to Walmart and they fucking want something, hey, that's the grandparent of me. You're getting it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Always
it's,
go to Goku.
yeah, dude, legit, like,
I love it, dude.
legit. And anytime they want to do something, I stop and, like, Kyoku, can we call spots? Yeah. Can we call spots on the counter? Like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, they'll jump Hurricanrana and they'll fucking do a Hurricanrana, like it's cool. But it's just, I want to be the best person because, okay, not a victim mindset. I'm trying to put content in context. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Put it this way, like, we're all on borrowed time, right? But put it this way, it's like, whenever I go to the movie theater, right? That's me leaving the house. So now Devin's leaving the house. What takes place when Devin leaves the house? So Devin knows before he leaves the house, he's going to make sure the dogs are outside. He's going to make sure the trash is outside. He's going to make sure the kitchen sink's clean. He's going to make sure the kitchen, the sink's done, the dishes are unloaded. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Zach, Carrie's youngest, he lives with us, he's 22. I'm going to make sure that, my laundry's out of the washer. I'm going to make sure, everything's cool. I'm going to tell Zach, hey, leaving the house. I'm going to go see Spider-Man, just going with me. Taking Carrie too, whatever. This is just scenario. And, going to go see Spider-Man. All right. So had a conversation with him. He knows I'm going to go see Spider-Man. He knows I'm going to be gone for 2 years or
Yeah,
2 hours. And he knows that, basically that I'm going to be going to the movie theater for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I get to the movie theater, as I'm driving, as I'm mentally preparing to go to this movie theater, I know I'm going to get my cherry soda. I know I'm going to get my popcorn. I'm going to get my fucking Crunch Bar because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to the movie. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Experience.
So it's like, before I leave my house, I make sure all this shit's done. And I make sure everybody's set. And I make sure everybody's perfect. So I'm just in the process of making sure my house is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and shit is just keep not going through the upright. Like, it looks like it's going to the upright, and then last minute it fucking tinks. And I'm starting to get scared, and my family's starting to get scared. And that's the first time I said it out loud, but it's like, if if I just want the world to know, like, who I am, and I want, like, who I really am.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want them to know that at the end of the day, this man did everything he could to provide and love his family. And that's all I give a fuck about. I don't care, like, who I pissed off in the MMA world. I don't care if I get, knocked out against counterman, which I won't. I don't care, like, if I get a name called or anything, or weird or annoying or, things like that. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I go to my house and I go to a house full of love, and I have a wife who knows who I am, and I have these two boys who I can, show them how to be, like, real and learn from my mistakes. Like, I know I pissed off a lot of people. I'm done saying I'm sorry to them because You know what I mean? I've said it 100 times. But it's like there's still people, and that's why, like, again, I stay off social media, bro, because like there's people all day who will post the most coolest thing anyone could do is turn their life around and get their shit together, and then you'll be like, yo, I got my shit together since you posted that meme and you own that gym. Can I train with you, please? Like, I really like would love to.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Thank you. So it's like social media is full of shit. You know what I mean?
It's
So
just the highlight reel for everybody. Yeah, it's
exactly.
not real. But man, I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, you have a clear focus where you're working towards is super admirable. Absolutely, dude. Your health is for sure the most important
Yeah,
thing.
we're
So
working on buying a property right now. Like probably dropping like 15K, like somewhere near a river. So that way we can like I can have a
nice.
place to go to
That's a
like
good
on the
move.
weekends and
That's a good move.
be away.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Just to get away from people, it's a good move. But yeah, man. So I think you've been a misunderstood figure in the St. Louis area, dude. But fuck, dude, I'm really glad we were able to sit here and talk,
Man,
and I can figure out more about Devin because you're a good dude, man. You know, focus on your health and your family, but it seems like you're on the path.
yeah. I like I said, I'm gonna stick to jujitsu. Like one thing, like I have a lot of people like I reach out to like when I'm in like a difficult mindset or anything, and like I'll name like Jordan Dowdy. He's a good dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn to him for advice, like just straight on the money, like bullshit. Like hey, hit me with it hard. What the fuck should I do like in this
He will
situation?
shoot you straight.
Yeah, and one thing he checked on me after my fight, and he was like, "Hey, just focus on yourself, and fucking go ahead and put time on the mats in jujitsu because those once you get that belt, no one can take those belts away from you." And I was like, "Sure," and then I took a boxing match. But it's like that boxing match is a whole nother story how that came up, dude. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah, I mean, so the intention is just to keep on boxing then.
dude, you made me like go down a rabbit hole that I didn't even realize I did. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and talk to my wife.
Yeah, well, hey, think about it, dude. This is we're actually right coming up on an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
no,
So
I don't want to take. Thank you for having me on.
yeah, let's wrap this up, Devin. Thank you again, my man. Again, I feel like you've been so misunderstood. I'm really glad we were able to like sit down and have this conversation and get some clarity on who Mr. Devin Anderson is.
Yeah, as I put, just I took that. I just listen. If anyone cares, Kelly killed it. So Kelly killed the kayfabe, and she was literally the nail in the coffin. I had literally everyone telling me to just stop, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
stop."
Well, dude, I appreciate you stopping
Thank
by.
you for having me,
Is there
Adam.
anything you wanted to direct people towards or anything? I think check you out, follow you.
No, no, and no. I
Social.
deleted all my socials
Okay.
when my stomach issues flared back up.
Social media sucks anyway.
If go check out your local mixed martial arts gym. Um, go follow Stay Strange Donuts. I'm gonna hit them up. Let's see here. Thank you again, Adam. Like seriously, God bless you, man.
No
And
problem.
just stay safe to everyone out there, man.
Dude, thanks again, my man. All right, everybody. Bye.